What's up, guys? I'm your host, Elf Ray Productions, and welcome to episode 4 of Extinct Locomotive Profiling. If you don't know what this series is exactly, then refer to the last 3 episodes of the series. Today I've invited
a guy that likes trains.
Talk about the Southern Pacific's AC-8 class 4882 cab forwards, otherwise known as reverse Yellowstones. Take it away.
Thank you, L4. Hello everyone, I'm a guy that likes Trains 93 on YouTube, and let's dive into the locomotive info, shall we? These revolutionary giants were built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in the year 1939. They utilized Walschaerts valve gear, had 63-inch drivers, a boiler pressure of 250 psi, a tractive effort of 124,300 pounds, a weight of about 657,900 pounds, sported a Southern Pacific 6-chime as their whistles and were numbered 4177 through 4204. The AC-8s were constructed after the Great Depression, originally as backups for the predecessor AC-6 and AC-7 classes of cab forwards. Most of the AC-class steam locomotives were what were called cab forwards. Now you might be wondering, what is a cab forward? A cab forward is a locomotive that has the cab at the very front of the locomotive, or in other words, a reverse conventional steam locomotive since the smoke box was typically in the back and the firebox in the front with the cab. The most optimal way to get fuel to the firebox was through pipes that ran all the way from the tender to the firebox behind the cab. The oil bunkers in the tenders on these locomotives were all made airtight and structurally braced. They were slightly pressurized using air from the main air reservoir of the locomotive to ensure a constant oil flow to the burner in the firebox when the locomotive would be traveling upgrade. The cab forwards of the Southern Pacific had a platform immediately following the smoke box of the locomotive. This platform was called the monkey deck. Smoke boxes were often stained with rust from the boiler water inside the locomotive as well as the chemicals used for boiler water treatment. And due to their proximity to the stacks, the monkey decks were often also stained for the same reason. Occasionally, these articulators would end up spewing hot water and mud from their stacks. Most railroad employees were aware of this fact, however, many hobos thought the monkey deck was a good place to ride. However, after passing through tunnels or snow sheds, hobos riding on the deck were either scalded or asphyxiated depending on how the locomotive was performing. The monkey deck was not at all a good place to ride on the AC-8s. The majority of the AC-8s didn't have any major accidents, but in 1941, engine number 4193 suffered from a fire in Hassan Tunnel due to the crew being unable to close off the oil pipes in time. And in the same year, 4199 had a catastrophic boiler explosion. Unfortunately, none of these engines survived the scrapper's torch, and all AC-8s were scrapped by 1960.
Now, why I chose this locomotive and why I want at least one of them to be preserved. For starters, it's the Southern Pacific Railroad, aka Foamer's Paradise. Let's make the foamers happy for once, eh? You know? Another reason is it's a cab forward. There's only one cab forward that we have in preservation, and it's AC-12 number 4294. We need more of these revolutionary giants in preservation. I don't care if it's static or if it's revenue service. We just need it. Off to the next segment. Disclaimer, the incident I'm about to talk about, it was real, but I'm altering it a little bit and making it a little more extreme, because this is real. In November of 1941, AC-8 cab forward number 4193 was hauling a 96-car consist near Los Angeles, California. In order to get to her destination, she had to go through Hassan Tunnel. Before entering said tunnel, one of the oil pipes on her side started leaking a little bit. About halfway through the tunnel, one of the knuckles keeping the train locked in suddenly snapped, setting off the automatic emergency brake system, bringing it to a screeching halt, wheel slip and all. The wheel slip caused high friction, and the oil was actively leaking onto the tracks. So that combination caused the front of the locomotive to explode into flames.
What the hell? Is that fire? Where is it coming from?
Right as the locomotive went up in flames, the crew tried to shut off the oil intake system to keep minimal damage. But they were unable to reach the valve in the cab, as at the same time, oxygen spread to the firebox, fueling the flame inside of it, making it explode into the cab, scorching the crew. They were able to radio the nearest people, albeit screaming in pain.
My skin is on fire!
The flames continued to intensify as oil started to pool on the ground, warping and melting parts of the frame to each other. About 36 hours later, the locomotive was completely scorched. The crew had died from their burns as well as asphyxiation. The oil intake was finally shut off, and 4193's fate was uncertain. She was taken to Southern Pacific Sacramento shops to see if any repairs could be made. For the longest time, she sat there, withering away. But in June of 1946, she would actually be repaired. It wasn't a good economic choice by the SP, but 4193 came out of the shops looking like she was just ordered by Baldwin. She would gain the nickname Hotshot, as crews would notice her firebox burning brighter since her rebuild. She would continue to run in revenue service until about 1958, when she would finally get put out of service and donated to the Traveltown Train Museum at Griffith Park in Los Angeles. It is there where she would stay for a while, being admired by everyone who stopped by. She was every kid's favorite locomotive because of her sheer size and strength. They also had her whistle removed, not only so it couldn't be stolen, but also so they could use it with compressed air at whistleblowing events. The 4193 would eventually be bought by the Niles Canyon Railway in 1992. She would be on static display for about a year until the NCR would obtain mainline trackage rights to run her. Her first excursion with them was a big one, and the mighty cab forward would quickly become one of the NCR's greatest history pieces. Every now and then, she would be loaned out to the Traveltown Museum for special events. She was put out of service temporarily in 2008 for her 1472-day inspection and rebuild. She would return to service in 2012. In 2017, 4193 would be lended to the Oregon Rail Heritage Center to double head with Southern Pacific GS4 number 4449. The excursion was a great success, and 4193 would end up cementing herself as one of the West Coast's greatest excursion stars. Well, that does it for today's episode of Extinct Locomotive Profiling. Tell me what you thought of the video in the comments below, and comment what locomotive you would like to see on the series next. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more, and share this video with a friend so more people can see my content. Join my Discord server, link will be in the description below. And thanks again to
A Guy That Likes Trains
for helping me out with the script. Be sure to subscribe to them, links to their channel will be in the description below. And that's all from me. L4A Productions, out. The incident I'm about to talk about, it was real. Disclaimer. Oh, shit, crap. Disclaimer. The incident I'm about to talk about in this scenario was real. It was real.